My microphone was not on during the celebration of life for my brother David Paul Rundle. So I wanted to make sure that y'all could hear me and what I said. So I would like to share this with y'all again. On behalf of our small Rundle family, I want to thank you for being here to celebrate the life of my older brother, David Paul Rundle. David's passing, as you can imagine, has been unbearable for us, but we have felt tended to by each of you. Thank you for your prayers and continued support. Now, as for today, this will undoubtedly be a celebration because David loved a good celebration, especially if it included a winning game of his favorite sports team or a hot game of canasta. And of course, it was just a bonus if he had an excuse to wear his team's winning shirt. David loved it when people gathered, and he delighted in a good party. Today, we choose to celebrate David and toast to his life. A life that was blessed, a life that was one giant celebration with his family and friends. I pray the words that I speak today and the stories that I tell will truly honor my brother and his memories. I met David when I was born. I don't recall the exact feeling I had when I saw him, but he did grow on me. We shared the same parents, Becky Lou Wall Rundle and Rodney Stephen Rundle, and we were both born in Borger, Texas. David was their firstborn and definitely my mom's favorite. Competition was always present in our household, starting at a very, very young age. Our grandparents on our mom's side brainwashed us into a healthy love of canasta, which is a card game played with several decks of cards. 99% of the time, we played it boys versus girls. David would call you out for making any statements or hints of what you had in your hand that might assist your partners. However, David was the king in table talking. He would say things to his teammates like, "Are you really sure you want to put those wild cards down?" Meaning David did not have enough wild cards to make the canastas, and it would end badly for the boys. He would also say things like, "I saw 3 Jags walking down the street earlier today." David even taught Tyler how to table talk, and Tyler recognized it at a very young age and would call him out on it too. David was always a joker unless we caught them with wild cards. Then he would start backpedaling on how to overcome the situation on the next round. This was also an attribute of David's character, and he was always fun-loving, enjoyed spending time with his family and friends, and always wanted everyone to have a good time and enjoy the moment. Summers we would spend in Perryton, Texas at our grandparents' cattle ranch, living the dream of wide open spaces. David would spend his days walking in the creeks, hunting anything that moved, from squirrels, possums, porcupines, skunks, snakes to turtles. He was also part of our family circle that declared war on the prairie dog town on top of the Cap Rock. They would spend hours calling the prairie dogs and knocking them down with one shot like a bowling pin. David was a good shot and loved talking smack to our cousins about his kills versus their kills. The evenings were reserved for epic coyote hunts, and boy were they epic. David inherited a love of guns and shooting from our dad. He enjoyed going to the gun range and testing his abilities. Although the last time that Charlie, Tyler, David, and I went, I beat them all in shooting. And you guessed it, I was braggadocious and rubbing it in that a girl beat them all. David was involved in sports from a young age. Our dad worked with us and brainwashed us into loving sports, all while keeping us busy, helping us learn to function as a team, and showed us how to build relationships. Football, basketball, baseball, tennis, and golf were his top sports to play. His first love was baseball, and I must say, he was really good at it. He played outfield. His nickname was the Deer. He would sprint for the ball, jump for the ball, dive for the ball, and anything else it took to catch the ball. At times, it looked like he was performing some kind of acrobatics routine. I do have to mention we also took skating lessons at Skate World in Deer Park, Texas. David could also figure skate and speed skate and speed race. He was fast. These life lessons that he learned in sports made him excel in his career. He was well spoken and he could communicate at any level with anyone. He knew how to deal with difficult people, and he could even make a joke out of it. He loved his family deeply. I remember meeting Tracy for the first time at Tyler's junior high basketball game. Turns out she's a sports fanatic too. They were two peas in a pod, and sports was always a common topic. Although I had no clue about who was what or where they played, I don't remember meeting Caitlin. It seems like she was always here with us, just a natural added sparkle to our family. I remember the day that David and Tracy got married. I was not sure if he was going to shove cake in Tracy's face or not, but I was ready to take a picture of it. Fortunately for David's sake, he was easy in feeding her the cake, and no crazy fight ensued. David was one of Caitlin's biggest fans and attended her drill team programs for the LaPorte Bulldogs. Although he and I were Deer Park peeps, he did root for the Bulldogs unless they played Deer Park. David was proud of Caitlin graduating high school and then graduating college. He was a supporter of her accomplishments. David was over the moon when he found out that Tracy was pregnant with Nash. He was so excited to be a dad, and there must be a Rundle gene that will continue brainwashing their kids regarding sports because Nash is a sports person too. David loved that young man like no other. He always encouraged Nash to be his best and supported him through every trial and success. Nash, your dad was an amazing man, and you get the pleasure of calling him your dad. Tracy, you are his sports queen, and he loved you and talking sports with you. Y'all's friendly rivalry of LSU and Texas A&M's games was always fun to witness, and all the smack talking. The many trips and vacations y'all went on and the fun y'all shared was an incredible piece of his life. 16 wonderful years you and David spent together with many amazing memories. You were such a blessing to him and taking care of him in those tough times. This room is filled with family and friends. Stands as a statement of the kind of man David was. All the stories, fun memories, and tough conversations will now be your treasures for the days, months, and years to come. David loved big. If you were his friends or family, he loved you wholeheartedly, felt every joy that you felt, and every pain you went through. He truly cared. He loved Jesus and had no doubt where he was going. David was fun, genuine, hardworking, loving, kind, thoughtful, compassionate, hot-tempered, loyal, always on time, outspoken, and honest are just a few words to describe him. I'm sure you could describe David in several other words. The impact that he had on your life, and what he meant to you. I challenge each of you here today to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Love deeply, give unselfishly, and be kind. This is not a dress rehearsal. We only have one shot. The time clock is counting down, so make it count.